Judaism, an overview. Judaism is one of the major religions of the world. Several aspects of this religion will be discussed. Basic beliefs about a higher power, along with prayers, customs, practices, and holy books will be discussed. Information will also be provided regarding rituals surrounding healthcare, death, and dying. First, some basic information and demographics will be provided. People who practice and believe in the tenets of Judaism are known as Jews, but this is a complex term. Anyone born to a Jewish mother is considered a Jew, whether they practice Judaism or not. Many Jews do share common ancestry, but people may also choose to convert to Judaism. The Jewish people have a long history centering around the Mediterranean, but after the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem by the Romans in 70 CE, they were scattered far and wide. Although Hebrew is their traditional language, languages have varied over the years. For a long time, many Jews spoke Aramaic, and several of their holy books are written in this language. After migrating to Europe, dialects of German and Spanish, known as Yiddish and Ladino, became the languages of choice. There are many languages in use in modern-day Israel, but modern Hebrew is the most common, followed by English. 75% of Jews in the world today are descended from German Ashkenazi Jews. Approximately 40% of the world's Jewish population lives in Israel. Another 40% lives in the United States, with the remaining 20% scattered across the globe. Judaism teaches that there is one God who is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. God rewards the righteous and punishes the wicked. God chose the Israelites as a special nation with which he made a covenant through Abraham. The Jewish law was communicated to Moses, the greatest of the Jewish prophets. Judaism teaches that the age of the Messiah will come, in which the temple in Jerusalem will be rebuilt, the dead will be resurrected, death will be abolished, and peace will reign. Much respect is paid to God, and this can be displayed in many ways. The common practice is to not write down the name of God, instead replacing a letter with a dash or other symbol. In this way, one does not mistakenly disrespect God's name by discarding or damaging the paper. Historically, the temple in Jerusalem was the most important place of worship of Judaism. Today's Jews worship in synagogues throughout the world. At the front of each synagogue, in the direction of Jerusalem, is a holy ark, which contains a handwritten copy of the Torah. Jews are no longer allowed to enter the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, so the Western Wall has become the central place of worship in Jerusalem. In addition to synagogues and holy places, much of the Jewish religion takes place in the home. There are several holy books in Judaism. First is the written Torah. This is what Christians refer to as the Old Testament. This is divided into the books of Moses, the Torah, the prophets, Nevi'im, and the writings, Ketuvim. The oral Torah was passed down by oral tradition until it was written down in the 1st century. This includes many writings, including the Talmud and the Mishnah. These writings help interpret the Torah and give advice for daily living. There are a multitude of prayers said by practicing Jews. Prayers are directed to God alone. One of the most common and often said prayers is the Shema, which can be translated as, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." There are several rituals and practices that can conflict with healthcare. However, the saving of a human life is considered one of the greatest things a person can do in Judaism. Because of this, life-saving measures often take precedence over the observation of rituals. Health permitting, all Jewish males are circumcised on the 8th day after birth by a mohel, a Jew trained in the art of circumcision. This differs from a common practice of physician circumcision in the United States. This is an outward sign of the covenant with God. Family and life are central to Judaism. Marriage and conceiving children is considered a holy act, so contraception is forbidden unless medically necessary. Orthodox Jewish men have restrictions on female contact. They are only permitted to touch their mother, wife, and daughters. This can be problematic in a hospital setting where many healthcare providers are female. Communication is important to establish boundaries. Allowing time for prayer is also important for devout Jewish patients. Judaism calls for a special diet. There are many intricacies, but the basic ideas are as follows. No pork or shellfish is to be consumed. Meat and dairy must be prepared and eaten separately. Blood is not to be consumed, so animals must be slaughtered in a special way. For healthcare professionals, this diet can cause other conflicts. Several medications are derived from pork, such as the blood thinner heparin. Some pills may contain gelatin that is also derived from pork. When in doubt, it's best to ask about dietary or medication restrictions. There are several considerations healthcare providers must take when caring for Jewish patients. First and foremost is allowing private time for prayer. Generally speaking, Jewish patients will always pursue the prolongation of life. Assisted suicide is forbidden. After death, the body should be untouched for a period of up to 30 minutes. The body must also be buried within 24 hours. This is an important consideration when caring and planning for a dying Jewish patient. Judaism teaches that the soul and the body are separated at death. There is an afterlife and there will be a resurrection of the dead. This provides hope. So, in conclusion, Judaism has a long and complex history. Not all Jewish people practice Judaism. There are several rituals and practices, such as a restrictive diet, that can present challenges for healthcare providers. It is important to clarify and communicate with Jewish patients in order to provide safe and respectful care.